Hello everybody, Kay Mitchell is my name. I'm from the admissions office. I'm one of the school's liaison officers there. And I've been asked to come along and chat to you about third level. We'll have a brief look at an overview of some of your degree programs. And excuse me for a moment when I just pop on my earphones. I think it's a little bit easier to hear me while I have these on. The world of third level, it's a very different world for what many of you might have experienced in terms of education to date. And I think it's good sometimes to actually address that before we even start as to why it is so different. It's a very different environment within which to study. Second level education does exactly what it is meant to do. It guides you through an area of study, through a curriculum that gives you the currency to move on to the next level. Now, for level 5 teaching, it's very directed, it's very organized, it's very, very structured. Now, at level 8, the structure is different. It's still very structured, but the structure is leaning itself towards training people how to be personally responsible and ensuring that you walk away with a very good graduate profile. And a graduate profile is the profile that people want for people out there who are recruiting. So when you're a graduate, you are deemed to have skill sets that are directly relatable to many areas of work out there. For people who are coming into various degree programs, some will have a very clear idea that they have a career pathway in mind. Others might be less so. But I want to assure all of you that what you have, once you have qualified with a degree, once you've developed this graduate profile, as we call it, you have a level 8 area of study under your belt, that which you can utilize as almost like a springboard into further specialization directly out into the jobs market, or indeed you can diversify into a completely different area in a shorter frame of time because you're a graduate and you have the skill sets that will allow you to take further qualifications in a shorter space of time. So as a qualification, it really is multifaceted in terms of the value it brings to you. No more than the standard of your Leaving Cert brought you into university, then the standard of your degree is also very, very important. Now, university standards are very, very different to standards in second level. First class honour with us is 70%. And any marks above that, 70% and above. A second class honour grade 1 is marks between 60 to 70%. Now, to most people that sounds like quite a low grade, but in actual fact, those grades are higher than you imagine them to be. So just to be aware of that. And I know from working with students for many, many years now in third level, students who will achieve those grades are the ones who have a really clear idea of why they're in third level. You know, can give it and do have the drive, the ambition and the energy, and can give these areas of study what it requires to do them. Because this really and truly is the world of self-directed learning. Yes, of course, you can ask questions of your lecturers. Yes, they'll be accessible on email. They'll have office hours, we can pop along to see them. You also will have year heads and tutors, but you will not have the same engagement as you do in a classroom situation in a secondary school. You'll also have much less monitoring of your attendance. So really it's up to you to have the interest and the initiative to attend. Now, when you're choosing a degree program, it's almost impossible to find 100% fit. In fact, if you like 75 to 80% of the content, you're doing really, really well, because the HEA is going to award you with a level 8 qualification in a particular area. There'll be aspects of knowledge you need to be aware of. You don't necessarily have to excel in them, but you need to be aware of. And it is important that you keep up the energy, ambition and drive and engagement for the areas that are less appealing, as well as the ones that really do appeal to you. And there's where the level of maturity kicks in. Because just like in any area of work or job opportunities out there, not every single aspect of every single job out there is going to appeal to everybody. But it's about you sign the contract and it's part of the whole. And the same is true with a level 8 degree program. So by and large, then you're looking at attending lectures for about a 50-minute period of time that by and large won't be roll called. You will have roll calls for labs, for practicals, for tutorials, which are study groups that happen once a week or maybe once a fortnight, depending on the department. And they kick in after midterm of the first year. And you will know in plenty of time how to sign up for them, etc. And they're small class teaching. But by and large, in the larger lectures, you probably won't be roll called. And that is sometimes very alien to students. You also will very rarely have a formal allocation of homework, or there won't be any correction of homework. So you will find that for every hour you attended a lecture, when in fact that's about 50 minutes, it is understood that you are going to follow that up with a minimum of about 2 to 3 hours reading in your own time. Now, you'll have an abundance of reading material available to you. There'll be references continuously in the lectures of things you need to be looking up, textbooks you need to be seeking out, what textbooks you need to buy. You'll have a course outline booklet. So there's no secrets as regards what you're meant to be doing, but it's up to you to want to do it. Deadlines are very, very important, no more than they are in the world of work. So if you miss deadlines, you could be penalised by the reduction of a percentage mark per day or more. And the departments will explain this to you, and it'll be very clearly lined in the booklet. So it is important that you meet your deadlines. They can be very flexible in school, but in third level, that flexibility isn't there because we're training you to operate as a professional. Now, if you are ill and have a doctor's note or a very valid reason why you need an extension on a deadline, that is something you discuss prior to the deadline happening, not after the event. It's very important in your communications with your tutors and your lecturers that you use your student email and that you address them formally. Do be aware that capitalization, full stops, and all of that these emails are written in a professional manner. They will expect this from you. And it is good training for the world of work where professional emails are expected from staff. So, you set off in that kind of frame of reference and it'll stand you in good stead. So maintaining a work-life balance is going to be essential. Joining clubs and societies, engaging in third level is very much part and parcel of the journey and so important. And costs at third level are much more so than at second level. It's €3,000 odd to register. For many people that would have been assisted perhaps by Susie Grant, or you might be putting a payment plan in place. But do be aware that for every student we have here who pays €3,000, the government is paying the supplement, the rest of those tuition fees to the university itself. So if you were to repeat a year perhaps in business or in arts or maybe in science or engineering because you failed exams, or you leave and you want to start a new degree elsewhere the following year, the government won't pay those tuition fees. They will only pay for every year you pass through your exams and follow through on to the next year. They don't pay the tuition fees for the repeat year. So it's very important that if you're feeling unsteady about your choice, you're not quite sure you've made the right choice. Now, very, very few of you are going to be in this situation. But if you are, seek advice early. Go and speak to your academic advisor, go and speak to the people in the access office, in the admissions office, and find out what is the best option for you as regards going and moving forward. It may be a fact that you hit a particularly tough part of the course for you, but it will get easier. But the secret to success at third level is keeping the lines of communications open. It is so important that you do that, and that problems can be sorted out when they're not so big. And if you leave them till later on, they might have become a bit too insurmountable. So communications, very, very important. When you're looking at essential skills then for career success, and these are well researched, well documented and well published, the skill sets employers speak about and publish all the time are excellent communication skills, listening skills. Very, very important that you learn how to listen, which you do in your lectures anyway, because you're listening and note taking for 50 minutes. You don't have to write every single word, but you train your ear to listen, and you listen acutely so that you can follow up with your study afterwards. Writing, verbal communication, and your writing skills is academic writing skills, whereby you start off in a train of thought and you're able to build in lots of ideas that are well researched, and you're able to back up and reference your material using library information, library sources, online journals. This is part of the journey of being trained at third level, the whole world of critical analytical thinking. So something you can quantify what you're saying, you can analyze it. So in other words, you're able to discuss a topic from a variety of different angles. You get away from the subjectivity of you like or you don't like. You pose philosophical arguments and debates around the reason why you think things are, work or they don't work, or are successful or less successful, and you're able to say why. That is all part of the training in critical analytical research and those kind of skills. Problem solving. Yes, problems will come your way every day in the world of work, as they will when you're going through as a student, where issues will arise that you have to go and seek advice from. You learn how to problem solve, and you become more and more confident in problem solving yourself as you grow through your areas of study. You might have 2 projects or 2 essays coming in on the one deadline. You know how to prepare for that and not be caught out so that you submit on time at every stage. How to manage your diary, how to manage your time. All of those issues will come as part and parcel of the university experience. For some areas, then you could be working as part of a team or in a group in your area of study, which would kind of enhance your skill sets for teamwork. But working on your own initiative is a big issue out there in the world of work, where you're expected to manage projects, where you're given a task set, where you have to roll out on something, as they call it, where you do the research, you put things in place, and you manage that yourself, and so that you're accountable. So you're expected to deliver consistently, on time, and to a consistent high standard. You're able to stand over your work. You're able to verify what you're doing and why you're doing it. And those are the skill sets you will get in third level, whether you're writing essays, working in labs. These are the skill sets we're training you. We're training you how to take on issues, how to think about it, research it, come up with arguments, being able to analyze it, being able to write about it, speak about it, communicate to another person or into a group in maybe in a tutorial, and how to lay it all out so that somebody else can read it and understand it and hopefully go on to utilize it. So those are the skill sets you evolve and develop as part and parcel of every degree program. So when people get stuck in, what will I do with criminology? What would you do with business? What would you do with X, Y, and Z? Sometimes you've got to think about this whole area of developing that graduate profile. Your leaving certificate currency were translated into points, or your QQI courses get translated into distinctions, merits and passes, etc. From grades you will get out into third level, and these grades become points in terms of the leaving certificate. But once you have a graduate profile, these are the skill sets I've been describing here to you, that have been translatable into the work, whether you're doing English or history or anthropology, whether you're studying psychology or social science, whether you're taking primary school teaching, or whether you're studying something in biotechnology. These are the skill sets that go hand in hand with the subject matter themselves. Looking at the university experience, then you're looking at getting involved in clubs and societies, such an important facet of third level. Opportunities to run an event, organise an event, be the treasurer, be the events coordinator, do some advertising, get involved in the students' union, work as a student ambassador at open days, lead tours on campus. It could be working with a department and helping represent a department at a stand during the open days, or explaining your degree program to parents and students alike when they visit the campus. There's lots of avenues and angles whereby you can enhance your social and personal skills on campus. So being involved is vital. It isn't just all about work and study. There's two pillars to every degree. There's the personal social evolution of the individual, as well as your academic expansion and evolution as well. It goes hand in hand. So you're writing up your CV. Every college you go to is a microcosm of the real world. Perhaps there's opportunities to travel. If you have a budget for it, that's something you can discuss with the International Office for an Erasmus or Study Abroad program. There may be even work placements that you can avail of through some of the degree programs where you get paid internships. So explore all the avenues that are open there for you, and utilize every opportunity you have while you're on the campus to get involved and get engaged, because the reality is that is going to show very much when you come for the interview, when employers want to hear about what you've been doing in college other than studying for your degree program. So there's a bigger picture really to taking a degree at third level. It's not by any means a box ticking exercise. It's very much a journey, and a journey, if you're to get the majority and the most benefit from, it's about engagement. It's about engagement in study as well as college life. They have to work in tandem with each other. Looking at the degree programs, then, I won't hit all of the degree programs in detail. Some courses are kind of laid out as the content as is. Others will have more choice in them, so it might be worth our while looking a little bit at the ones that offer choice. And I suppose one of the biggest areas of choice we have is the unique arts degree, if any of you are doing the arts degree. And what's very unique about the arts degree is that students have an opportunity to develop their own portfolio. So from the time you start in college, you have 4 weeks from the time lectures commence. Once you've registered, you're 4 weeks once the time lectures commence to actually attend as many lectures as you possibly can. Remember, we're not roll calling. And you can attend the ones you've registered for, but others as well, so that you can have an opportunity perhaps to change your mind in that initial 4 weeks if you decide to do so. And depending on what you've studied then, there's opportunities to change after year one again. So on page 44 and 45 of the prospectus, there's a very good account given, and on the website, of
the university arts degree. And for this one, really, there is no really magic formula. People are inclined to ask, what is the best combination? There's no best combination, there's no worst combination. It really is what's attracting you. That's why there's so many subjects in here. So you have subjects from a whole range of various disciplines in here. Every year you take 60 credits, and every subject in here is 15 credits. So you can take a maximum of 4 subjects in first year. It could be over 3 areas where you're taking one as a double at 30 credits and another 2, or you could take 3 subjects with critical skills. Now, when you're looking at this grouping here, it looks a little bit convoluted maybe, or a very confusing thing to look at. But this is replicated on page 45 of the undergraduate prospectus, and it's just really showing you how the arts degree timetable works. So all these various groups are just looking at the groups. It's representing the timetable. For example, in group 1 there you have geography, German, law, philosophy, etc. So it's telling you that these subjects are always going to be taught at the one time. So therefore that means you would choose a subject per group until you get the combination of subjects that's going to suit you best. So there's many areas in here you're familiar with, like geography, history, English, perhaps Nua Gaeilge, which is modern Irish. For those of you who really love your languages, you've got French, German, Spanish that's available at beginner's level. You can also do an advanced stream in that. Nua Gaeilge, which is modern Irish, that is only available for people who have taken the curriculum before. So for that one, you do need to have a H4 in Irish to take it. You can't do it at beginner's level. However, you can do beginner's German if you wish. You can take it as a 30 credit option. You can do beginner's Spanish if you wish. You can also take Chinese studies. You can also do beginner's French if you wish, or you can do the advanced streams. Then you have many subjects in here you may not have been familiar with before arriving in third level, which is anthropology, which is the whole world of how culture defines who we are. You have the whole area of sociology, not too dissimilar to SPHE, which you've met in schools. You also have technical subjects, like you have your maths studies, you've got maths physics, you have pure maths, which requires a very high level grade in maths to actually take them. It's a double subject in first year for you to explore. And you also have then the older civilizations, like Greek and Roman civilization, the medieval cultures. You have philosophy in there as well. And then we have opportunities in degrees that could lead you into particular areas of study after you finish first year. For example, many students who would like to take something like psychology find psychology courses are very high in points with limited places. But in arts, you can take psychological studies taught by the Department of Psychology, and you can take that with other subjects of your choice in first year, continue on in second and third year, and you end up with a 3-year BA psychological studies and something else. Now, that is not an accredited degree, but there is nevertheless a 1-year conversion master's that you can use as a top-up to give yourself that accredited qualification. It is a very competitive master's, but all masters are competitive. So it'll be down to, achieving the best grades you possibly can and looking at opportunities for you to further your studies, either immediately after your degree or further down the road. Then you have opportunities for students who come into arts to take law. We have separate entries into law programs that come in at much higher points than arts. But if you're coming into a law degree, into an arts degree, you can actually register with the law department in First Arts, and you can do that by taking law in First Arts. You can take it as a 30 credit option. So if you take 30 credits in first year in arts, you still have room in the timetable to take 2 other subjects. So you could take law with 2 other subjects. It could be law and business, it could be law and criminology, law and accounting, or law with one of the art subjects that work with it. And then after year 1 study, once you've passed all your exams, you can do one of 2 things. You can decide not to continue with law and continue with your arts degree, or you can transfer into year 2 of either the 4-year LLB or the 3-year BCL program, where you're taking law with your other subject, and you end up graduating with an accredited qualification in law. So from second year on, your registration changes from arts to law, and you're not missing out on anything because you've been attending the same first year lectures. The business courses in Maynooth, we have many business options available for students. And for many people coming into arts, if they haven't made the points grade or for some other reason they end up in arts, you can actually track a qualification in business through arts, or you can transfer into a second year business school. So we have there on the MH404 entry, there are many options in it, but you can find business international management and marketing. Now, if you take business as a double subject in first year, it sits there in groups 2 and group 6. If you take 30 credits in business, either international management or marketing, and the second part of that business sits in group 6, which means you wouldn't be able to avail of these subjects with double business. It means you can take 30 credits in business in first year with 2 other subjects of your choice, pass all your exams, 40% across the board, Then after year one study, when you go back to register in year two, you could decide to stay in arts taking business and your other subject, or you can transfer into year two of the business school and you could exit as a business graduate from Maynooth rather than a law graduate by passing your exams. There's also transfer opportunities into economics and finance from First Arts. You will also find there's transfer opportunities as well for accountancy. Now, if you are wanting to transfer into our accountancy degrees with business or law with accounting or indeed with finance or economics and accounting, you do have to achieve a 60% grade in your accountancy exams. It isn't a pass grade that's required because those degrees are accredited and all those details are on the prospectus, so do follow through with those. You also have opportunities here for computer programming. And again, for this one, you can take computer science in first year. You can take it as a double subject if you wish, or you can take it as a 15 credit one. For anybody who hasn't done higher level maths, the department recommend you take math studies with it in first year. So if you take computer science in first year with maths and your other subjects, or indeed if you take 30 credits of computer science with your math studies and another subject of choice, at the end of year one, by passing your exams, you could transfer into software engineering, computer science and software engineering. In this degree, you also have a standalone subject for criminology. We do have an entry for law and criminology, but you can take it in arts, you can take it with law and criminology and seek to transfer across, or you can leave law out of the picture and decide to take criminology with your other subjects. It has grown as a specialism within law, and for that one, we're looking at the whole area of criminal justice system in Ireland, and there's the whole area of society and culture and how all the roles that has to play within the subject area as well. So as a degree then, there are so many subjects in here that I don't have time to explore in detail, but they get the idea. It's a unique opportunity to develop your own portfolio. The only restriction you have is the timetable, and then after year one, you get to choose again, depending on what area you've chosen in first year. So if you're continuing on then in second year with arts, you can stay in arts taking a double major, taking two subjects of your choice. You can do a single major in some areas, not every area, but single majors are available in economics. They're also available in anthropology, in geography. You can do a single major in English as well and in history. So those are things to be aware of. You can also do a major minor. Now, I said earlier on, every year is 60 credits. So if you're doing a double major, it means you take two subjects at 30 credits each in second and third year. A single major would mean you'd be taking all your credits, 60 credits in second and third year. And a major minor would be a 40-20 split. So you'd be taking 40 credits in one subject and 20 in another. The transfer options then would be into areas like if you wish to transfer into law, there's transfer options into music, into the business courses, the accountancy degrees in computer science and software engineering. On the website, there's an excellent Arts University subject guide. It's a guide for first year students who come in to do arts. And in here, there's an A to a Z directory. It's well worth looking at online. An A to a Z directory of every single subject we briefly looked at here and telling you how they operate in second year, how the transfer options work for things like business and law and computing, accounting, etc. And it gives it to you in great detail. Looking through education then, any of you who are doing the education degrees, they're very well structured. You don't have the same choice that you do have in the arts degree, but you have kind of schedules that they will work with through. Through science education there, when you're coming on the MH212 code, you have that opportunity in that first 4 weeks to decide whether you're doing science education, which is maths, plus your science subjects like biology, chemistry, physics, and maths. And then after first year, you decide which of those two subjects you teach. For the streams with computing or maths with applied maths, you do need higher level maths. For science education, past maths suffice, but you have that initial 4 weeks to decide. And then from second year on, you start your education modules. So you do 4 years of an undergraduate program with your education modules, and then you complete your studies in year 5 when you complete the second part of your master's. You have a whole range of subjects here then that will allow you to go into areas specifically related to particular areas of interest. For example, the media area. That degree there will offer you opportunities to work in Kairos communications as part of your degree. With psychology in first year and the BSc, they do give you an opportunity either to take art subjects with psychology in first year and continue on them with psychology only. And with the science option, you can take maths and a science subject, but just for first year. And for the remainder of the years then, it's just psychology only. With social science, again, you have a choice of certain art subjects with that, and you have a bit of flexibility there in your 4 weeks as well to make up your mind how they actually work and what would suit you best. You're looking here then at the business degrees, and these would be the degrees you would transfer into from arts if it's a thing you didn't go directly in. But going into these degrees, they're fairly constructed, well constructed. There's more and more choice in second and third year as you go through the degree, where you have your core subjects and you're able to choose your own options to make up your 60 credits. But in first year, they're fairly well structured and laid out. And all of them will offer you various aspects of business. They're very similar in many ways. It's just some have more of an emphasis on global business, others have the opportunity with a language, others might have more of an emphasis on management as opposed to marketing. It's really all down to personal choice and availing of work placements as well. You have your work placement officers who will be working with you through these degrees as well, and advice can be had from the department. The same will be true of our economics department there, where they give you some flexibility and choice in the finance degree. Then you have your qualification in finance and accounting. And again, those transfer options are available from arts, and again, work placements and opportunities will be available through them. Looking here at the School of Law and Criminology, again, they're fairly well laid out into their structure. You either take the 4-year LLB or the 3-year BCL, where you're taking law with another subject. Both of these streams are accredited by King's Inn and the Law Society. Why you choose one over the other really is down to personal choice, but both of those options will give you opportunities to further your studies in law. And if you have come in through arts and you're taking law in first year, your choice of transfer from arts will be either into year 2 of the 4-year LLB or year 2 of the 3-year BCL. And again, like business or economics, work placements would be available, or study abroad options would be available. The next area of choice then really would be in the science area. Now, science, unlike arts, yes, you will have reading and essay writing, but a lot of your work from science will be going in on your lab reports on a weekly basis that you submit. Everybody in first year takes mathematics, and do remember we have excellent math support centres in Maynooth for anybody taking economics, computing, science, engineering related courses. So everybody in first year has maths as part of their subject base, and then they choose 3 others, and you have 4 weeks to decide which subjects you'd like to choose with that. So it's maths plus 3. And then each year you start dropping down your subjects, whereby you can go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 or 2 in your final year. So as you see it down, you're specializing more and more and more, emphasizing as you go and being able to choose the options that allow you to specialize as you go through your degree. So again, just like arts, you get to decide what your portfolio will look like. But you're going to have a lot more contact out here, anything from 26 to 28 to 30 hours a week, depending on the degree stream. You'll be doing a lot more hands-on work in the lab in small groups, and you also will be submitting your lab reports on a regular basis as well. Anything then in the technical areas like engineering, robotics, product design, you have a lot of lab work built into that. It's a lot of practicals involved in all of this. And any of these areas will have a certain element of mathematics in them. And again, do avail of the Math Support Centre that will be open to you. And you'll find that the maths tutors are incredibly helpful there as well. And the department themselves will be very helpful as well in the labs and its small class teaching. And I would say the same with computer science. Anybody who's coming into computer programming, avail of the computer science supports that are there. So you have the Math Support Centre, the Computer Science Support Centre, looking here at the beautiful oldest building, where they have a lot of labs available for students to work on in the evening. And it's about putting into practice what you learn through the languages in your degree. So that's briefly, ladies and gentlemen, a brief overview of study. Just a quick run through the degrees because you've applied for and you've made your decisions on that. But really, it's about ensuring that when you're making your choices, you're making the best choices, especially in areas like arts, that you understand how they work. But keeping in mind always that when you walk away from Maynooth, you have given yourself the best opportunity, and you have utilised every opportunity on the campus to make sure that your graduate profile is the best that it can be. And uniquely, that is one of the strengths of Maynooth University, that you work in a situation where it's very much got a community feel. It's easy to make friends, it's easy to settle in, but it's about reaching out and realising that in first year, everybody takes a while to settle in. Don't be afraid to chat to the person beside you, because the secret to success for all of it is that student engagement first and foremost. So I will leave you with those happy thoughts, and thank you very much for listening into that. And we'll end this session now and wish you well with your studies for the year ahead. And if you're on the campus and you see me whizzing by at any stage, do feel free to stop and say hello. Thank you.